So what I thought would be cool to give you some insight is to share something that literally, up until this point, only 2 human beings have ever read. The letter that I wrote to Glenn that convinced him to let me work with him. I wrote this. I said, "Dear Glenn, before you read this note, I want you to know that you cannot buy anything from this letter no matter how hard you try. This is a letter from one of your most grateful, dedicated students with the most modest of requests to simply think over what you're about to read in this note. Since the purpose of this letter is not to get you to buy anything, you may be curious. Why send this note to you via FedEx overnight on Christmas Day? Well, 2 reasons. Because I imagine you must receive hundreds of emails, letters, and phone calls every day. And because what I have to say is so important, I wanted to make absolutely sure that this note would get through to you. And because I respect how valuable your time is, Glenn, I wanted to express my genuine appreciation for you taking just a few minutes to read this brief but highly unusual letter today." I was practicing my copywriting right there. Okay, so who am I and why am I writing to you? Let me explain. My name is Ryan Levesque, and I'm a dedicated student and client of yours since 2007, as well as a current member of your hyper-responsive club. In fact, you may recall I recently made a few comments on your blog about how you've made a profound impact on my business and my life. I know how much you've valued the special mentors in your life, and I'm writing first and foremost to let you know that I consider you to be one of the most important, valued mentors in mine. And someone whom I sincerely admire and respect. So please accept a great big thank you for everything that you've done for me. Now, I hope this letter and the manner through which you've received it conveys how genuinely sincere I am in writing to you today. And before reading any further, all I'm asking is that you keep an open mind to the mere possibility of what you're about to read. And then I go on to do this big, long preamble around here's why I'm writing to you. And I say, well, Glenn, here's the reason why I'm hoping my intuition about you is right. That you would consider opening your coaching program to an especially motivated and dedicated student, one who fit the definition of your ideal coaching client. If that student were presenting a compelling case for you to consider and demonstrate in extraordinary fashion that he was supremely serious about transforming that possibility into a reality. So as you ponder that question for just a moment, here are 3 reasons why I'm asking you to make an exception to one of your rules, to accept me as a full-paying, no special exceptions coaching program client. Reason number 1, you'll be working with an exceptionally serious student with serious business goals, willing to take whatever action is necessary to achieve them with integrity and honesty. Here are 3 proof points to illustrate the type of passion, work ethic, and dedication toward achievement you can expect from me as your student and coaching client. Number 1, coming from a working class background, I'm the first person in my family to ever go to college. And against all odds, graduated with a 3.9 GPA and academic honors from an Ivy League university, Brown University. So in other words, you'll be coaching someone who knows how to overcome tough obstacles with discipline, determination, and focus, and someone who gets things done. Number 2, upon graduating, I was hired by a Fortune 500 insurance company to build their network of sales offices across China. At 25 years old, I was setting up over a dozen profitable sales offices. I was promoted to become the youngest division head in the company and was managing an entire department of Chinese staff and was put in charge of the company's overall China expansion plans. And I want you to know the reason why I say this is in as few words as possible is that the guy you'll be coaching is no slouch. Furthermore, that guy you'll be coaching has been successful as a manager and coach himself and someone who both respects and understands the coach-student relationship from both perspectives. But like you, the corporate world was not for me, Glenn. So while working full-time, I devoted every evening, every weekend, toward pursuing a lifelong dream to launch and build my own business. And that's when you came into my life, Glenn. In 2008, at 26 years old, I stumbled upon the interview that you did with Terry Dean. The memory is still clear to me as day. It was like everything I was struggling with suddenly clicked for me. So I purchased your How to Double Your Business seminar. I started my first internet business using your system, and 6 months later left the corporate world to focus exclusively on building that business full-time, using the methodology that you teach. Reason number 2, you'll be coaching someone who's already successfully implemented your system from start to finish. And I talk about a practice business. That practice business is serving me. I generated a business that helped me go from $0 to $25,000 a month in 18 months. That practice business is serving its purpose well, but I'm currently working toward building a real business in a much larger niche with significantly greater potential. Reason number 3, you'll be coaching somebody who represents the most responsive of your hyper-responsive customers. and therefore someone who would be an invaluable resource to you as you further develop and improve your system and teaching methodology. A precursor to things to come. You'll be coaching someone who's soaked up every drop of knowledge on the topic of internet marketing that you have ever published, from your original How to Double Your Business seminar to your hyper-responsive club, as well as every single report, interview, MP3, video tutorial that you and your wife Sharon have made available for the last 3 years. In other words, someone who knows your stuff stone cold. Furthermore, you'll be coaching someone who's already chomped down every nugget of information published by all of your mentors that you've recommended and learned from yourself. Now, as you sit back thinking maybe it'd be worth possibly taking a chance on this guy, I do understand that you might have a few objections or concerns. So let me attempt to address these one by one. I'm going to teach you about objection handling right now, okay? So when you have objections, you got to think through what those objections are going to be, and you handle them right up front. Objection number one. With everything going on in your life right now, you've already got a full plate. You don't have the time to take on any more coaching students in your program right now. This is most certainly a valid concern, and I imagine your primary one, but let me ask you, Glenn, a question. Imagine working with a student who's so determined, so motivated, and so proactive that coaching that student actually energized you to make a real positive impact on your own business and your own life. Isn't it possible that the energy you derive from spending just 90 minutes every month coaching that student could actually make all the other minutes in your month, time spent working on your own business, more productive, and thus, as a result, help you become more successful? Assuming for a moment that such a student did indeed exist, let me ask you this. If the opportunity to coach that student presented itself, how could you afford to not at least give that coaching student a chance? Now, this raises another possible objection. Objection number two. You may be concerned anyone who would go to such great lengths to write a letter like this to you would probably just turn out to be a crazy person. Well, I hope the care and consideration with which this letter was crafted demonstrates that not only am I a serious student, but that I have great respect for the value of your time. And trust me, I can appreciate that you have a lot on your plate already. You and I see eye to eye on something very important, the value of laser-targeted focus. I agree 100% with your ethos that one carefully considered, detailed question every single week is more effective than dozens of back-and-forth email or phone exchanges. In fact, I believe this method of contact to simply be an extension of your philosophy and how to approach everything in business. As a business owner myself, I recognize the benefit of working with dream clients who get your style, understand the way you operate, and respect your time. And I wouldn't dream of treating you or your time in any other way. Objection number three. Okay, that's all fine and good, but by now you might also be concerned if I'm selling products in markets that could possibly even jeopardize your professional license. Things like hate mongering, pornography, cigarettes, speed seduction, gambling, or things like MLM or get-rich-quick schemes, or other businesses that more often than not are run by people with questionable or dubious character. Glenn, the markets that I've entered include orchid care and jewelry making. You can see for yourself at orchidsmadeeasy.com and thescrabblegal.com. Now, the much larger project that I'm working on right now is choosing a niche to enter within the personal growth and self-improvement market. Like you, my goal is to genuinely help people by offering tremendous value and with integrity through products and services that positively enrich people's lives for the better. So let me make this perfectly clear. I have never, nor will I ever, enter a market that would jeopardize my own integrity or professional reputation, nor the professional reputation or licenses of any partner, mentor, or business coach. Objection number four. You may also be thinking by now, if I was really a serious student about becoming a coaching program client, and the motivated, proactive student that I claim to be, why didn't I just sign up when you first offered your coaching program? This is also a fair objection. But I'm hoping you'll forgive me for not signing up when your coaching program was still open, and here's why. When you opened your coaching program earlier this year, my wife and I were literally right smack in the middle of moving back from China to the United States. And if you've ever lived in a highly bureaucratic, communist-run country, or have gone through the process of moving your family across continents, then you know that the experience is, shall we say, a bit complicated. And while making this halfway across the world move, you're also in the middle of purchasing a new home and going through the process for the first time, and trying to run a newly launched business, let's just say that you're spinning a lot of plates. In short, I have no excuse, other than that I was completely consumed during this once-in-a-lifetime period in my life, and I failed to sign up for your coaching program while it is still open. So basically what I'm asking you is this. Will you find it in your heart to forgive me for not signing up and give me the chance to join your coaching program today? Really, that's all I'm asking for. Another chance. for someone who's uniquely motivated and dedicated towards successfully implementing your hyper-responsive system. To help make this decision completely easy for you, I've already enclosed a cashier's check payable to SciTech Inc. for the first month of coaching. This way, we can get started right away. For future months, Portia already has my credit card on file, but if you want to set up recurring billing for coaching separately, your support team can reach me at my email address provided. Now, of course, if after you take me on as a coaching client, you decide that for any reason it's not going to work out for any reason at all, then it goes without saying that you have the right to stop at any time and we'll part ways as friends, I promise. That is my 100% money-back guarantee. And so just to be 100% clear, I fully understand how your coaching program works. One message per week via coaching message board. I'm not asking for any special treatment, nor am I asking for any sort of discount. Just the opportunity to join your program as you've designed it. Once we begin working together, I sincerely believe you'll be thrilled that you made your decision. In fact, I would go as far as to say that in time, you will consider me to be among your best students. To get started, all you need to do, call to action, to get started, all you need to do is send me an email letting me know that you've agreed to give this a chance and take me on as a coaching program client. We can take it from there. Thank you for taking the time to read this letter, Glenn. I hope you can tell by this note that the opportunity to work closely with you is something that means a great deal to me, and I hope that you'll recognize the potential rewards that coaching such a motivated, dedicated, passionate student can give you. I'm expecting to hear from you with great anticipation and begin working with you as your next coaching program client. Yours sincerely, Ryan Levesque. He said no. He sent the letter back to me. No joke. He sent the letter back to me. And this underscores why this man has been such a mentor to me. He said, it's not fair. It's not fair to give special treatment to anybody. He said, I will be opening up the program. Pay really close attention to what that is. He sent the $100 back. He sent the cashier's check back to me. He said, pay close attention. And a few weeks later, when I got the email from him that said, the coaching is now available, an email is going to go out tomorrow morning. When these spots are made available, they go fast. I woke up that morning at like 4 in the morning. I set up 3 computers. I had multiple internet connections. I had my credit card details in a text doc. I actually practiced copying and pasting my data into all the fields so I could be one of the first people to get in, because I was not going to miss this opportunity. I spent weeks writing this damn letter. You better believe I was going to get into his coaching program. And so I did that, and I started working with someone for the first time. I stopped trying to do it on my own. And I worked with someone who had walked the path that I wanted to walk. And here are the results. Oops. Here are the results. That's when I started working with Glenn. And that's, you can see where my income started to explode. See, coaching is the great accelerator. It's one of the things that I've learned. Coaching is the great accelerator. And so, for everyone here, I have some takeaways when it comes to stop trying to do it all on your own. When you go big and make an investment in yourself to get help, to stop doing it on your own, in whatever framework, whatever format that means, it can feel scary. It was for me. When I knew the check that I was writing and what that was going to cost, I was going all in. I was going all in. Tylene was mad at me. She's not even in the back of the room. Where is she? She was mad at me. I had to sneak off and go to the bank without telling her. And when I got home, I said, oh yeah, by the way. Because I knew if I'd asked permission instead of forgiveness, never would have happened. And it's scary. I know what it feels like when you don't have a whole lot of margin coming in. You're kind of thinking every $500 matters. You got to cling on to it. You got to hang on to it. I know what that feels like. Now, one of the things I learned in coaching is that 50% of the benefit is from the coaching that you get, but 50% is from going all in. So I got a ton of benefit and insight from Glenn and his coaches, but half the benefit is when you go all in and commit to something big, it's like you're burning the ships. You're like, this is my thing. There's no plan B. I'm going all in. And the question you want to ask yourself is, who has already walked the path you want to walk? So let's get to the purples in the room. Raise your hand, all you purples. So by this point in my journey, I realized the value of coaching and how it's a great accelerator. And this led me to lesson number 4. Become your mentor's number one student. So you saw what happened to my income when I started working with my first coach, Glenn. But what's really interesting is when you look at that chart in the context of not the first 5 years I was in business, but the last 10 years that I was in business. I'll show you again. 2007 to 2011, this is what it looks like on its own. 2007 to 2011, this is what it looks like in the context of the last 10 years. So the big question is, what did I do differently here? Well, you read it in that letter that I wrote back in 2009. And later on, in 2015, when Glenn wrote the foreword to this book, he wrote, "Ryan studied my methodology more intensely than any of my other students. To say he was obsessed would be an understatement. He repeatedly flew out to my house to talk to me about it. He used it to develop his own profitable business." And what that means in a nutshell is I sought out to become my mentor's number one student. And it didn't stop there, because as I've sought out more mentors and coaches in my life, it's a consistent theme that I've tried to apply. And when you think about it, it's so beautiful, right? Become your mentor's number one student. Seek that goal. So here, one of my mentors, Jeff Walker, Jeff writes, "Ryan had the largest first launch of any student of mine and is only one of 3 students to ever have a $3 million launch." Seek out to be your mentor's number one student. This is my mentor in the software space, Dan Martell. Earlier this year, we transformed a business from nothing to $1 million a year software company. And we're on path to triple that. Here, Victoria LeBaum, married to Frank Oz. Frank Oz is the voice of Yoda, for those of you who don't know. Victoria is my coach that I've learned from. If you've ever wondered, how does an introvert like me get on stage and do this and have the courage to do this? It's all her. And I had complete validation when I recently did a keynote and she was in the audience, and that's the text message I got. That was brilliant. Those words warmed my heart so much. And where's Barry? This is something that Barry said to me about this event right here. Touched me. She said, "Ryan, you're putting on a year 3 event in your first year ever." Those are words I'll take with me forever. So I want you to think about that from both perspectives. I know some of you in this room, you're coaching people, you're mentoring people as well, and the words that you share, the words that you offer to your students, have a lasting impact in ways that you might not appreciate ever. Now, becoming your mentor's number one student doesn't just mean, is not just limited to the space of business and marketing. So I have coaches in every area of my life. This is my fitness coach. This is Theo. So Theo is 66 years old. He is the Texas heavyweight natural bodybuilding champion, all ages. He beats out guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. This guy here is my inspiration. He's the guy, this is a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to show it because it's the real deal, who helped me go from looking like this. It's when I was right out of the hospital. If you heard my story, pretty sick, 132 pounds, 30 years old. You can still see on my wrist, I have the hospital band on my wrist. Literally when we got out, the day after I got out of the hospital, to earlier this year, in 5 years. I was debating if I was going to show that. I know I went from Will Hamilton to Vince Del Monte in 5 years. Not quite Vince, but I'm on my way to Vince. More Vince, less Will. And right now, I personally spend $242,000 a year in coaching. That's what I spend. That's what it takes to get here, okay? You say, why would you spend that? That's a waste of money. No. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't invest that every single year. And so I want you to think about something, because this is one of the most profound realizations that I've had this year, and it goes like this. Getting better is velocity. Getting better is velocity. But the thing that is most powerful is getting better at getting better. And that is acceleration. Acceleration is how fast your velocity increases. And coaching is the great accelerator. One of the things that I've realized is that the more I invest in coaching, the faster we grow. That is how that graph looks like it looks. Because I invest in the areas that I want to level up in. I pick an area, the thing that I want to focus on. One of my mentors said, you pick one thing for 1 year and you make that your thing. Pick one thing for